How have you seen energy evolve?
The first thing is demand has just skyrocketed. There are more people that live at a higher standard of quality than they ever have because affordable and reliable energy has enabled a modern lifestyle.
I spoke with the CEO of Chevron, Mike Wirth, about the future of oil and gas and alternatives and how the amount of energy AI is consuming is forcing innovation.
The administration should stop the attacks on natural gas and embrace the benefits it's already delivering around the world.
So you've talked about you really need legislation on, permitting reform was one thing that you've mentioned, because you want policies in place that aren't just going to change at, a moment's notice or the outcome of one election. What are you working on with Congress now? Are you focused on any specific legislation that you think could get passed? What is the status of that?
The example you cite, I think, is the most important one for our economy, and that is to get reasonable permitting rules in place. What's happened in our country through a variety of different acts over time is we've made it so difficult to invest in any kind of infrastructure. And so it's not just oil and gas infrastructure, it's the grid, it's renewable power, it's roads and highways. And the review processes are so cumbersome, they can take so long, they can be held up through judicial review for years and years and years. In a country that built its great economic strength on building things has all of a sudden become a place that doesn't build. And a lot of these policies try to constrain supply of energy, and they don't do anything to affect demand. And so in California, people are still driving as much as they ever have. They're driving gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles. You see more EVs on the road, but it's changing only slowly. And so the policies that only attack the supply side don't recognize the fact that demand continues to grow. And I think that's the fundamental issue is we need to move at a pace where we can invest in demand-side technologies that allow us to electrify things that can be electrified, that allow us to capture emissions where we can, and integrate new sources of supply into the system. But the reality is demand for energy is growing in the world and will continue to with the population. And so constraining supply tends to push prices up. And if you don't change demand, it really doesn't do anything to change the environment. Anybody who's serious about climate, that's the real test, is how do you feel about nuclear? Because nuclear is a zero-emission technology. Nuclear plants have proven to be safe. The historic record, if you put that in the context of all the nuclear power that's generated, it's a very safe technology. Newer generation of reactors are even safer. And so I think there's going to be a place for that. We've invested in startup companies, particularly working on fusion, which is probably further out than the type of nuclear we know today.
Do you think as it stands now that we are leading that revolution, or do you think we face a lot of challenges from other countries, namely China, when it comes to
I think the race is on. China has proven to be very good at AI. DeepSeek has gotten a lot of attention, but China graduates more English-speaking engineers every year than the United States does.
Wow.
China's got a tremendous capacity to invest in these technologies, and we're seeing it across a range of different parts of their economy. So they are very focused on the things that they believe will lead to success in the future. I think the U.S. Has a better innovation ecosystem. We've got a better higher education system. We've got deeper capital markets. We've got more of a culture of innovating, but we have to support that with policy. And it's a competitive world out there, and so it's not a given that we will win this race. We need to match up this great innovation with our great energy resources, and I think that's going to be the key.
Yeah, and in terms of access to energy, do you think they have an easier go of it right now, given the current regulatory regime that we have in place here in the U.S.?
Oh, certainly. It's a lot easier to build things in China than it is in the United States. There's no doubt about that.
So how do we change that?
Well, I think we need to get into permitting reform. We have to make building things a priority. We have to make our economic competitiveness a priority. And if we want to win the AI race and continue to be the world leader, we need to have energy policies that enable us to supply the power that AI will require.
How have you seen energy evolve?
The first thing is demand has just skyrocketed. And that's an extrapolation of what's happened since the beginning of the energy age in the middle of the 1800s. And what we've seen is an addition of new technologies. We've never actually seen going all the way back to wood and biomass, we've never seen a reduction in the demand for any energy source. We've just added coal on top of that, and then oil, and then gas, and then hydropower, and nuclear, and wind, and solar, and all the technologies that we have today. And so we've added new technologies to help meet this growing demand. And from my perspective, it's been interesting as an engineer to watch how we integrate these into the system, how they work in some places, but not in other places. And markets are a terrific mechanism to sort these things out and bring the right solutions to bear on the right applications. Look, we're part of what has raised the standard of living on the planet to the highest that it's ever been. There are more people that live at a higher standard of quality than they ever have because affordable and reliable energy has enabled a modern lifestyle. It also enables people to take care of the environment and reduce emissions. And the countries that have done the most are those that have made the most progress. We owe it to all the people on the planet to allow them the opportunity to develop, to live a better life. And as we do that, and as we create more prosperity, we will create a cleaner environment. It's the way it's always been.